I thought it'd be really useful since people are just starting to get their product to start talking about values of cards so that you can make good trades or good purchases or sales online. I haven't traded cards in a long time, and so I'm very excited about it. And I thought it'd be useful to start at the top. So, the rarest cards in the game are showcase leaders. You only get one of these in every 12 booster boxes. They're quite rare. So if you open a foil leader that is alternate art and an expanded border, it's probably worth between $200 and $300, and you should consider yourself very lucky. From there, we can talk about base rarities. So there are commons, uncommons, rares, and legendaries in the game. So right at the bottom of the card, there's a little C, a little U, a little R, or a little L for common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. And in my mind, commons and uncommons are basically uh, cards that you'll get tons of extras of if you buy a decent amount of product, and you can probably give them away to the kids that are in your play group who don't have quite as much disposable income as maybe the rest of us. That's especially true when it comes to leaders and bases. While you might need 3 Death Star Stormtroopers, you don't need 3 copies of a common Boba Fett or of an Echo base. These bases do have experience and shields on the back, but those are probably even more common than the regular commons and uncommons. Then we start getting into the rare cards. And rares are going to have a little bit of a range depending on how popular they are for deck building. So a card like Emperor Palpatine, which is a really, really good card, might be more in the $7 or $8, $9 range. But if we take a look at some other rares, U-Wing Reinforcements probably in the same ballpark. Jedi Lightsaber maybe a little less. K2 maybe just as popular as these. We can start kind of arranging them by how popular they would be in deck building. Cards like Galactic Ambition and the Emperor's Legion and Saw Gerrera are pretty niche. Not many people are playing those. To play Saw, you have to be in double red, which I don't think anyone's really playing a whole lot of right now, right? So this pile might be more the $1 to $2 range. I'm sorry if you pulled a Galactic Ambition. This pile might be more in the $3 to $5 range, and this pile might be more in the $6 to $8 range. You do get a rare in every pack, so they're not going to be the rarest cards in the game. And I'm going to make the same comment that I made about leaders, where you only need one Iden Versio if you're playing Iden. Whereas if you are playing red, you, I guess, want 3 Saga rares if you're playing double red. So I would expect leaders to be a little cheaper even than the regular cards. Then you've got legendaries. And just like the rares, there's going to be a decent spread on these. Cards that are maybe a little bit more niche, like Aggression or Mace Windu, might fall in the $10 to $12 range, whereas cards like Boba Fett might be more like 20 or 25, and Luke's probably 30, and Vader's probably 40. So those are that's probably the range. If you've got a Vader or a Boba Fett, you probably don't want to trade it for a Super Laser Blast or a Black One. But you got a legendary, so you should be happy with that. Okay, next up are foils. In general, for foils, I would move the scale up by a factor of about 2 or 3. So let's start with commons. Regular commons are worth next to nothing. Maybe 10 cents, but ultimately you'll probably be able to get stacks of them for next to nothing. A foil common is probably going to be worth about $1. If it's something that's really popular, like a Death Star Stormtrooper, maybe $2, but we're not talking about a giant payday. For cards like Bays, that's an uncommon. you're getting up to maybe the $2 to $5 mark. Rebel Assault, someone may want 3 of these for their deck. Foil rares, same sort of thing. So don't get cocky. The regular card might sell for $1. Foil version's probably going to sell for 2 to 5. A regular Obi-Wan might sell for $6 to $7, and a foil version's probably going to sell for 10 to 12. Okay. Next, we have Hyperspace cards. And it's a similar scale where you're multiplying by a small factor, but Hyperspace cards are actually a little bit rarer than foil cards. You get a foil in every pack. Hyperspace cards are only one in every couple, or two out of every 3 packs will have a Hyperspace card. So in general, I expect the prices to be close. It's worth noting that you can't get a regular just foil leader. If you've drawn a foil leader, it's a showcase. So kind of like the leaders we talked about earlier, I think a Hyperspace leader might only be a $3 or $4 card if it's a rare. If it's a common, maybe a $1 or $2 card. Whereas the commons, uncommons, and rares can start getting a little bit more exciting. Where if Count Dooku's trading for $4 normally, maybe a Hyperspace version trades for $8. And then the legendaries do have that similar multiplier where if Avenger is trading for 20, a foil version might go for 30 and a Hyperspace version for 35, for example. And then the last rarity, or the last level, are Hyperfoil cards. These are Hyperspace and foils. They're borderless, and they have that cool foiling. And here, I would expect the price to get multiplied by a factor of maybe 5 to 8. So a common that's normally worth next to nothing in Hyperfoil might be a $5 card if it's useful in a deck, right? Where someone wants 3 Fleet Lieutenants. This is not an easy card to get. Uncommons might be 5 to 8, and then rares and legendaries can get really, really pricey. Where I've seen a Hyperspace foil Darth Vader go for $200 to $250. So I hope that's helpful. Make some awesome trades or sales, and enjoy having Spark of Rebellion out.